Hi. Today is the birthday of this channel. Doobie and I posted our first video 1 year ago at the end of April. That video was a hiking and foraging video. And now here we are, 1 year later, with over 500,000 subscribers. Thanks to all you viewers. Today I wanted to talk about success. And how success is not about trying hard. And that's a really hard lesson that I learned. And I continue to learn. And I don't mean by success this idea of, get rich, have a house, have 3 kids, have 2 cars, typical American dream. Be able to go to Bali or Maldives or some faraway expensive place twice a year. I'm not talking about success as in what our consumer culture and American culture. Sorry for people who don't live in America. I'm talking about the American dream. I'm not talking about that. I think George Carlin, the comedian, I forget how the quote goes exactly, but he says that in order to believe in the American dream, like the only way you can believe in the American dream is if you're asleep. I think that's pretty true, especially now. I mean, maybe in the 1960s. 1950s, the American dream was attainable. Not now. So I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about success in a goal, like achieving your goal, achieving something that you are trying to do. It could be a task. It could be as simple as doing the dishes. It could be as complicated as playing the guitar well. Or it could be as simple or complicated, depends on how you look at it, as making a YouTube channel. It could be as complicated as becoming a neurosurgeon doing spine surgery. Or learning how to play a video game really well, like a multiplayer game where you compete against other humans. Here's another one. It could be learning to take a multiple choice exam very well. I'll talk about that because I know a lot of people are in school still and need to take multiple choice tests. So stick around for that because it's going to be worth your while. Definitely, because I will give you the tips that I use to ace those multiple choice exams. And that opens a lot of doors. Okay, so what the heck are my neighbors doing? It's pretty early in the morning and they're like banging on furniture or something. Okay, let's see here. Focus. Okay. Success. Yeah, so success, what I'm talking about is setting a goal, trying to achieve a task, and to do it in the way that you want to do it. That is what I'm talking about for success. And I think that there is actually a way to do it that I've, at least it works. It seems to kind of work for me. And I don't think that I'm like super special. I'm not special. I'm just one one human being out of like 8.2 billion people walking on this planet right now. And so I think what I learned is I think applicable to everybody. Now, I've been told in my life that what works for Gooby doesn't work for other people, so don't listen to him. Literally, I had somebody say that in front of other people when when I aced the neurosurgery written boards, and the written boards was like it's like the final exam for neurosurgeons when you're in residency. There's two. There's a written one, and then there's an oral one you take after you finish. But I aced the written ones, and I was trying to tell I was trying to tell my fellow residents, my classmates, colleagues, how I did it and how it was actually attainable, and you could do it. But as I was explaining it, one of my colleagues, who was a year above me, said, "Well, what applies to Gooby?" Well, they said my name at that time. What applies to Gooby doesn't apply to you all because Gooby is on his own thing. That hurt me because I was legit trying to share. I was legit trying to share something that I thought was very valuable and that a lot of people could take it to heart and use. And then one of my colleagues just kind of discredited me, like in front of everybody, saying that what I was going to say doesn't apply. But that's not going to stop me from sharing this in this video because I think it does apply to everybody. All right, so it's not about trying hard. In fact, the harder I try, I think the worse the outcome is. If I'm trying hard, I think that I'm actually doing it wrong. And there's this kind of like myth that if you try really hard, if you put a lot of effort in, then you're going to get results. But that's actually not true. And it's taken me many, many decades to learn that. Because I guess common sense wise, it seems like if you put a lot of effort into it, then you're going to reap a lot of rewards out of it. But that's not actually, I don't think that's how it works. What does work is consistency in a way, balanced with some randomness, deliberateness, and intuition, and listening and thinking about it, like reflecting. Now that's okay. A deliberate consistency mixed with some randomness, intuition, and reflection. Yeah, okay. That is the secret sauce. Deliberate consistency mixed with some randomness, intuition, and reflection. That is the key to success that I've learned. That's how I make sense of it. Now I'm going to explain what I mean by that and give several examples. Okay, so let's see here. Okay, to get really good at something, you have to do it, because the way our brains work is it's literally our anatomy, how the brain works, is that when you try something, the neural circuits, they have plasticity. That means that our brain changes, the connections change as you live. As you do something, our brain changes so that you can do it better the next time. When you do something, let's just say I am I'm trying to throw a dart. I'm trying to throw the dart and trying to hit the dartboard, which is a circle with targets on it. And I throw it and I don't even hit the board. Well, a brain signal in our cerebellum, which is back here, goes zap. Wow, Gooby, you really messed up. You didn't even hit the target. You hit the wall. You made a hole in the wall. Our brain sends a signal It's actually in the cerebellum. These cells called Purkinje cells. They're pretty cool. And they go zzz with electricity, and then they tell your brain, wow, we really did not get the outcome we wanted, so we got to do something different next time. And then I take the dart out of the wall. There's a hole there now. And then I throw it. I hit bullseye. Then the brain is like, whoa. There's a whole different system called the reward system. It's deep in the middle bottom that releases dopamine. People talk about dopamine, but this is how it actually works. The dopamine gets released, and then it tells the brain, wow, whatever we just did, we got to keep doing that because that worked. So there's like two systems in the brain. There's one that's like, hey, whatever we did, we got to keep doing that. And then the other one is like, wow, you really messed up. Don't ever do that again because that just doesn't work. Okay, so there's these two systems that help us get better at things. And then eventually things become automatic. Like when I'm first learning how to throw a dart, I'm really thinking, okay, I got to hold the dart this way, and I got to stand this way, and then I got to move my muscles this way to let it go, and I got to let it go at a certain point. But if I keep doing that over and over and over again, it becomes muscle memory. And it's not actually muscle memory. It's a memory in the brain that has been refined over many dart throws, a neural pathway. And then you don't even really have to be consciously thinking about a lot of stuff. You just say, okay, I'm going to pick up the dart and I'm going to hit the target. And then you hit the bullseye. But that takes doing it many times. Not trying hard, just doing it many times. You can do something. You can do something and not try very hard. Just do it many times. You could also do something and try really hard and put a lot of effort into it and sweat on it and make sure other people see that you're sweating and trying really hard. That's exhausting. No, this is not that. It's just doing it. If you do it many times, your brain will figure out, well, it will probably figure out how to do it well. So number one, you got to be consistent and keep showing up and keep trying and try many times. But not try hard, just try it. Like, hey, just pick up a dart and just throw it. No, that was pretty close. And pick up another dart and just throw it. I'm not like picking up the dart like, oh my God, I got to hit the bullseye. If I don't hit the bullseye, I'm going to feel so bad. I feel so bad. That's trying hard. I'm not saying try hard. I'm saying just try. Just pick up the dart, throw it. Oh, I hit the wall. Darn it. Made another hole in the wall. Pick up another dart, throw it. Oh, that worked better. I wonder what was a little different that time. And pick up another dart, throw it. Oh, I hit the bullseye. Wow, what the heck did I just do? Maybe I can do that again. That is not trying hard, but trying many times. Okay, so that's the first part. You got to show up, and you got to keep trying. But that's not the only thing, because if you keep trying, but you don't change it up a little bit, if you do the same thing over and over and over again, well, most likely you're going to keep sucking. Like let's say I pick up the dart and I do the exact same movement every time, and I hit the wall. Like I don't even hit the target. I pick up another dart and I do the exact same movement, and I hit the exact same spot on the wall. I made another hole, right next to it. And I pick up another dart and I throw it and I hit the wall again beneath the target. Well, I could keep doing that for years and keep sucking. Like keep not hitting the target. So it's not just about being consistent and showing up, because you could be consistently bad at whatever you're trying to do. So there is the other parts. So deliberate consistency mixed with some randomness, intuition, and reflection. So some randomness. Well, just being alive, every moment we live is slightly different. No moment in life is the exact same as any moment in the past. Like the now, the present, is unique. It's always unique. And so even if you think you're doing something the exact same way as last time, it is a little bit different. You're different. The setting's different. The time's different. Even if you're trying to do the exact same task, it's actually slightly different because you're different. The world's different when you're trying to do it. But you could also consciously change things up, like hold the dart a slightly different way, maybe put one foot in front of the other, maybe lean forward a little bit or lean back or stand straight. You can consciously try to do things a little differently, or there can be just the natural randomness of the changing times and the changing person. And so that is partially built in, but you can also consciously add in more variability if you want to try things a different way. Now I'm going to hold this dart a slightly different way and see what happens. I'm going to hold my arm close to my chest and just use my elbow so that there's less movement instead of using my shoulder too. I'm going to just try that out. But that randomness, variability added in only helps if you reflect on it. Now, intuition. Intuition can help guide you into like adjusting the variability and trying something slightly different. And sometimes it needs to be a big difference. But not all big differences are helpful. Like if I go and I'm right-handed, if I go and I say, I'm going to do it with my left hand, and I pick up the dart and I throw it, I'm probably not going to hit the target because my left hand's not as good as my right hand. So not all big differences are good. I could also pick it up and be like, I'm not even going to look at the target. I'm going to throw it behind me. That's a big change. There's a lot of variability, but it's definitely not going to help. So there is a intuition to help guide the experimentation, essentially. You have to trust yourself, trust your instincts. Sometimes your instincts will lead you the wrong way, but then you can learn from that and then adapt and reflect on it. So using your intuition, trust yourself. If you have a hunch, I feel like if I stand this way and hold my elbow close to my chest and then throw the dart very precisely, I can get really good at it if I do it a lot. That's a hunch. That's intuition. I'm not a dart thrower, but I think that's how I would get good at it. Stand in the same way, use the fewest number of joints to throw it so that I can get just really good at throwing it. That would be my intuition, to try some variability, some randomness, and then I can reflect on it. I can see what happens, and then I can try again. Not try hard, but try again. There's a big difference. So that's the theoretical concept, I think, of how to be successful. You got to show up. You got to be consistent, and use intuition. Trust your instincts to experiment and try some new things. See if it gets better or if it gets worse, and reflect on it, and adapt accordingly. And you don't have to try hard. You just got to try many times. So I'm going to give some real world examples of how this has worked in my life. Now for you students, because I know some people are like, oh my God, I got to take the MCAT or I got to take the SAT, and I got this multiple choice exam for my licensing. I've been waiting 20 minutes for Gooby to talk about this. Okay, so I'm going to talk about it now. Multiple choice exams. They're a lot easier than like an essay, because or something where you have to write the answer in. They're a lot easier because the answer is there. It's one of the choices. One of the choices is correct. So you don't actually have to know the subject matter of the question to figure out which answer is correct, because it's there. It's one of them. And with doing enough questions, enough multiple choice questions, you can eventually figure out how these questions are written. And then you can figure out, oh, well, let's say there's 5 choices. Well, there's an obvious one that is wrong, so you knock out one of them. And then you can say, okay, well, there's 4 now, and this one probably is one that the test maker's trying to trick me. Like, it seems like the easy one that would make sense, but it's probably not. So you get that one out, and then you're like, okay, there's 3 left. And then you can look at how they're worded, and you can figure out, okay, well, these 2 are similar, or this one's different, or something like that. And then you can say, well, then this one's probably the correct answer. Or maybe you're just stuck with 3, and then you're like, I don't know between those 3, but you've narrowed it down from 5. So now you have a 33% chance of being correct instead of 20%. Yeah. Now you just increased your odds quite a bit. And if you can narrow it down to 2, then you got a 50% chance of being correct, which is a lot better than 20%. The way that you figure out how to kind of mind read what the question writer, how the question writer forms this question and the answers, is by doing the questions over and over and over again and looking at the answer immediately after you do the question. That's the key. This is the key. This is what I was trying to tell my neurosurgery colleagues, residents, when they were trying to study for the boards. And then the guy above me shot me down in front of everybody. It was quite rude, honestly. I was trying to share some valuable information, but I'm sharing it now. If you have a multiple choice exam, just get your hands on a whole bunch of questions and answers. And what you do is you look at the question, you look at the answers, you give it your best shot. I think is choice B. And then you go to the answers. And you look at the answers and you're like, okay, this question, the correct answer was actually C. Then you go back to the question and you'll be like, it was C, so C is the correct one. Why did I choose B? Oh, I got tricked there. Or maybe I just didn't know. Maybe it was between B and C and it was like 50% chance. I'm like, okay, well, now I know that for this question, C is the correct answer. Just file that away. Then I go to the next question. So by doing that, I am engaging the Purkinje neurons in the cerebellum and the dopamine neurons in the reward center of the brain. And I'm either telling my brain, whoa, I messed up there, we got to do something different next time. Or I'm saying, I got it right. Now, if I get it right, I just move on. If I get it wrong, I circle the question, and then I move on. And then I go through the whole set of questions for that test. And then what I'd do is I would go back and I would do only the ones that I got wrong, the ones I circled. And it's funny because by the time you've done the whole test and then you go back and then you do the ones that you did wrong, many times I've forgotten what the correct answer was because it's been a while. And so sometimes I still get it wrong. And if I get it wrong again, I leave it circled. I go to the next circled question. And then if I get it right, then I erase the circle. And then I go all the way through the set of questions. And then I go back to whatever was still circled. Until I keep doing that until I get everything right. Now that is the key. If you do that many times, it doesn't matter what multiple choice test. It could be the SAT. It could be a neurosurgery written boards. It could be some like licensing for some mechanic job. I don't know. It could be a welding written test. Doesn't matter. If you can do many questions many times in that way, you will get a very good score. Well, that's not a guarantee, but that is, I think, how you get a very good score. It's not a guarantee that you'll get it, but that is a very high likelihood that you'll get a pretty darn good score, if not like an excellent score, if you do that. Now, what most people do is they go through every single question and then they tally up, they write all their answers down, and then at the end of doing all the tests, then they go back and then they look at all the answers in a row, and then they mark which ones they got wrong. That is a very inefficient way of using what our brain does. So it's much better to do one question and look at the answer and then use your brain to figure out, oh, I did something wrong or I did something right. And then go to the next question, and then look at the answer. And then the next question, and then look at the answer. Now, it does require flipping, if you got a book, flipping the pages back and forth each time. Or if you're on the computer, going to the answer. Well, it's probably easier on the computer. But yeah, that is, for you students, that's how you ace the SAT or whatever kind of multiple choice exam. You just do that many times. And it is necessary to kind of know the subject matter, but for multiple choice exams, you can learn what you need to learn from the questions. A lot of people, like including myself, have in the past have said, well, actually, I'm going to read all these books, and then I'm going to start doing the test questions because I need to know the stuff. So I'm going to spend like 2/3 of my time reading and then learning all the material, and then maybe 1/3 of the time or less doing the questions. If your goal is to do well on the test, that's actually the wrong way to do it. You want to spend maybe like 1/4 of your time actually reading the material and like going through it and then learning it as best you can, and then spend 3/4 of your time doing test questions, because that's actually how you're going to do well on the exam. That's counterintuitive. It's also a lesson of trying hard, because if I think, oh, I'm going to read every single page of every textbook, I'm going to try so hard and it's going to pay off. Well, it doesn't work that way. Trying hard doesn't pay off. Trying well in a very deliberate way pays off. Trying many times. So okay, that's the student one. Let's see here. Video games. Video games are fun. I've talked about using video games as a crutch to run away from emotional issues and situations in life that I was not very happy about. That's not good. I don't recommend using video games to run away from things. But video games can be entertaining. They can stimulate your mind, and it can be a complicated problem that's fun to do and keeps your mind active. And for me, video games is a way to socialize. I have a group of friends online that I've played with for over a decade, and um, I I've gone back to playing some with my friends regularly, um, but for just like a set number of hours, like 2 or 3 hours, um, most days. And it's kind of like my social time, where I hang out with my friends that I've hung out with for many years, and we chat and talk and laugh and have a good time playing this game this video game is called PUBG, or Player Unknown Battleground. Um, and we're all pretty decent at it. Um, we're not like esports champions or anything, but we have fun and we enjoy each other's company, and it's an entertaining game. In this game, also, if you try hard, you just make it harder for yourself. Like you, it's a shooting game. You could have like, you could put on, you could equip yourself with like a sniper rifle where you have to have exquisite aim and timing, because you have one bullet, and as soon as you fire the bullet, um, it takes a while to reload for the next bullet. But the bullet is very powerful, and if you hit the enemy, um, they get a lot of damage, and so you can defeat them. Well, that's trying hard, because you have to get your aim perfect for each bullet, and that takes time. And if you miss, there's a lot of time before you can send the next bullet. That's trying hard. What's not trying hard, but what's trying a lot, is using like a machine gun that shoots a lot of bullets very quickly, but also over a pretty good distance. Maybe not as far as a sniper rifle, but through many tries, you can adjust your aim and hit your target. And they may not hit as hard as the sniper bullet, but you've had so many more tries to hit your target with a machine gun that it makes it much easier. Now, it has some drawbacks. It's slower. You're not as mobile. It may not have the range or damage, but that is much better at overall of winning the game. You're not trying as hard. You're just trying many times, and adapting to what you see in front of you, and showing up. Like my wife and I were, and Doobie, we were gone van camping for the last 5 days, and then so I haven't played with my friends. And then I came back yesterday, and I played with my friends, and I was definitely rusty. We still won 2 games. At the end of the game, it says winner, winner, chicken dinner. So we got 2 chicken dinners, even though I don't eat chicken. But we still got winner, winner, chicken dinner twice, and it felt good. But I was rusty. I could tell I was rusty. It took me some time. So consistency is important, but also trying many times but not trying hard, and adapting, reflecting on the results. YouTube has been very interesting. I think this is the last real life example I don't want to talk about surgery, because honestly that was a pretty painful part of my life, and I don't really want to talk about surgery. So I'm going to talk about YouTube. YouTube has been fun. I want to talk about fun things, because I think, I'm only going to live one time. Well, in this body. I don't know if I get reincarnated or not, but I know I have only one time in this body as Gooby, and so I want to have fun. I want to be happy. I want to feel good. I want to be safe with some shelter and have some yummy food. Maybe have a beer. hang out with my friends, hang out with Doobie and my wife, and take care of my body, stay healthy, and think of fun things, and laugh, have some joy in my life. So I'm not going to talk about being good at surgery, because that was honestly a pretty tough part of my life. YouTube's fun. Again, this is the 1 year birthday of this channel, and so I have made a lot of videos. Gosh, I don't know how many videos I've made, but I think it's in the 300s. But I'm not sure if that includes, might be 200s. I'd have to look it up. I'm not sure if that includes shorts, or if it's just the long form. Might be 200 some long form videos. But I've tried all kinds of things. I've done hiking videos, foraging videos, nature, like water, ASMR kind of videos, like water sound videos. I've done talking videos, talking head videos like this, talking head videos out of nature, talking videos while walking and hiking, played some music, I played, told some stories. I've done, recently, the very last one, I did a kind of like a beer tour documentary, where I traveled and tried some different beers from different breweries that are local. That was fun. Did I try hard? Well, I tried hard in editing, because there was a lot of segments. There were like 40 recordings, 30 or 40 recordings, and I had to stitch together. So yeah, that's trying hard. But I had fun. Like, I enjoyed making that. The strange thing about this YouTube channel is that the less I try, like the less effort I put in to making a video, usually the more receptive it is. Like, the more people want to watch it. How does that work? That flies directly in the face of trying hard gets results. Literally, the less hard I try, the better the results are for the video. The less editing, the less thoughts, attempts to or predetermined ideas of what I'm going to talk about. Literally, if I just show up and I just turn on the camera, I'm like, okay, I want to talk about this topic, but I don't know exactly what I'm going to talk about. But I'm just going to talk about it. Turn on the microphone, and then talk about it. That has gotten the best response from people out of all the videos. The ones that I spend an hour or hours stitching together all these beautiful shots of nature and the mountains, or going to the brewery and explaining these different beers on this beer flight. And I stitch it all together, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to this brewery. I'm gonna go to this one nature place with this blowhole in the ocean, and then we're gonna get the sunset. Literally, nobody cares. Oh no, that's not true. There's a lot of people that watch that, and I enjoyed it, and I will go back and watch that video myself, because I really like that video. I really, it reminds me of Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations. I really liked watching Anthony Bourdain's No Reservations. That's kind of like the inspiration for the last video, the brews in the PNW. And I really liked Anthony Bourdain's show, and I want to do something like that. And so I will keep making videos like that, where I go on a hike or something, or go explore somewhere, may not even be in the mountains, might be in the city. And then I stop by a brewery that's known for good beers and try it and explain what experience drinking that beer. Maybe talk with the brewers, maybe visit a hop farm, something like that. Um, uh, but what I'm trying to say, I'm digressing. What I'm trying to say is that the videos that actually get the most views on this channel are ones like this, where I just set up the camera, turn it on, and I have somewhat of an idea of my topic, and then I just talk for a while. And it doesn't require much editing. I literally just pop it into Premiere Pro and combine the audio and the video, because I use a microphone plus the GoPro or iPhone. But even that's even another one. I started this whole channel using just a GoPro and a microphone, and then I was like, oh, I could get better video quality with an iPhone. So I'm gonna try mixing in the iPhone footage with the GoPro, and eventually I went to just using the iPhone. But the thing about that is that the iPhone is the GoPro just simpler. It's simpler, and it's got a little screen next to the camera lens that I can see, make sure that the shot looks okay. Whereas if I use the good lens on the iPhone, I'm looking at the back of the phone. Because if you got the selfie version, it's not as good of a lens, I think. It might be the same, but I know you can't do like half times or 2 times magnification when you do a selfie. But this is just simple. So I'm going back to it. And then I use some fancy microphone. This condenser mic. I use this for a while because I wanted to get better audio quality. But this is just one microphone, so that there's it's mono. It's not stereo. Whereas you can't see it right now because it's underneath the GoPro. This is it's a field recording. It's an H1 Essential. It's a little tiny field recording device with 2 microphones that go this way, so you can hear left and right. And that's what I used on that viral video of me quitting neurosurgery. This set up almost exactly with a different tripod because I set it on a rock at that time. And I was just standing up next to the rock talking to the camera. And that's essentially what I'm doing today is I set up a bigger tripod because I don't have a rock in my living room. Set up a bigger tripod so I can stand up. And I got the GoPro and I got the same microphone. So it's literally the same setup, same audio. This is so much simpler than the other setup I had with this big boom and this big condenser mic, and then using the iPhone camera, which I can't see exactly what it's seeing, but it's better quality. That's trying hard. So with this YouTube channel, now that it is the 1-year birthday, I reflected on all the videos that I've made to now and thinking about what works and what doesn't work. I really like the ASMR water videos, but honestly, people don't really watch them very much. And every time I post it, there's like people unsubscribe from, I guess, getting it in their feed. I'll still post them once in a while, but there is something that I've been kind of like figuring out this YouTube algorithm. It's become a game to me, like a very entertaining game. Like I like playing this PUBG game with my friends, but this YouTube algorithm is very interesting, intriguing. What do people want to watch? What do people enjoy watching and listening to? Like, what audio gets people to listen and keep watching and clicking? I find that interesting. It's an interesting game to me. I like talking through these things because I learn something, and I get to share it with other people, and maybe they learn something. My goal is not to help people, because I've made videos about when you help somebody, you help someone repeatedly, then they can come back and hurt you. It is this weird life fact that the people that are most likely to want to hurt you is someone that you've helped repeatedly. Okay, it's so bizarre. I've made a video about that. If you're interested, I think it's called "Some People I Helped Later On Tried to Hurt Me." There's something like that. But that is such an interesting part of life. So I'm not making these videos. I used to make these videos to try to help people, but I realized that that's not a good idea. People can help themselves. I'm going to help myself. I like making these videos because I learned something, and it's fun for me, and it's fun to try to figure out the YouTube algorithm, to me. And if somebody gets helped by this, that's great. And if they don't, that's great too, because I'm having fun. I'm doing something that I find intriguing. I'm trying to figure out this YouTube algorithm. I'm also trying to figure out life and sort through my own thoughts and figure out what works and what doesn't. And I'm showing up regularly. Actually, this last 4 months, I haven't been showing up as regularly to YouTube. I was just going through some stuff in my personal life. And as a U.S. citizen, but my personal life too. But a lot of those things in my personal life have resolved and gotten better. And so I have more bandwidth to think about things that I like doing, I enjoy doing, that bring me joy, and making these videos is one of them. And trying to figure out the YouTube algorithm is also one of them. And sorting through my thoughts is very useful to me. Might be useful to you. But that's not why I'm making it. You can help yourself. I'm going to help myself too. And I care about you, but you can help yourself. So that is my video on success. Success is not about trying hard. It's about a deliberate consistency mixed with some randomness, intuition, and reflection. Well, I hope you have a good day or evening wherever you are. Bye.